Hey everyone, it's Donna from Donna's Corn-Free Cooking, and today I'm going to share with you how to make my marshmallow cream. Now, when I was searching for recipes, I came across one and I found it on food.com, and it was by someone whose handle was CryPixie83. And she was collecting recipes for her daughter who had a corn intolerance. Now, in going through the recipe, I found a couple of things that when you're allergic to corn or intolerant, you should not even use. And one of those things was vanilla extract, which, as everyone knows, the alcohol content is made from corn. Also, when she was making marshmallows, I'm making marshmallow cream. Her marshmallows, you find them in the store already pre-done. They're corn syrup. They're rolled in powdered sugar. She says to use, or the recipe that she had says to roll them in powdered sugar. Well, if you do that, you're defeating the purpose of having corn-free marshmallow, because powdered sugar is over half cornstarch and then the rest is sugar. So I'm going to show you today how I adapted this recipe and I make marshmallow cream. I'm not so crazy about making the marshmallows, but I do use a lot of marshmallow cream. So we're going to get started. And in my pot here, I've got 2 cups of pure cane sugar, and that's something I keep forgetting to say. When I use sugar, I only use pure cane, whether it's in my brown sugars or my granulated sugar, because when you get just granulated, it's generally beet or corn sugar, and a lot of times the beet sugar is mixed with corn sugar. So when you're using it, if you've got a corn allergy, if you're like me, you have a reaction. So I always make sure that everything I use is pure cane sugars. So I've got 2 cups of that in this pot. And now I'm going to add a half a cup of cold water. And I'm going to use my wire whip to mix that up. And you start with cold water because you're not going to boil this. You bring it up to a boil, and then you remove it, add your gelatin, and then you're ready to get it mixed up. So I got it on. I'm going to start out to heat up the pot because I have one of these new flat tops that you heat up the pot and then you turn it down. So I'm going to get that started, and you have to stir it constantly because you want your sugar to melt, but you don't want it to caramelize or burn. Pardon me, my tongue is kind of twisted today. So when I do this, once I add my gelatin, then I bring it up to a boil. And the gelatin I use knox because it's an unflavored gelatin. It's nothing but gelatin, and it's not made from corn, so I do well with it. But I've learned over years of practicing and figuring things out what I can and can't do. A lot of people, they love the flavorings that you put into these things, but I found the taste isn't much different without the vanilla, so I'm happy with that. But this is a good recipe that you can use. I have a cranberry salad I do with this. I love it for my hot cocoa, which I make, of course, from cane sugar and cocoa. I don't use any syrups or anything. And simple syrup is so easy to do. It's just a matter of doing it on your own and coming up with what you want. So we're gonna, this is starting, pot's still fairly cold. So I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more. And you just keep whisking away, and it seems like it takes a really long time, but it really doesn't. It's just the idea of having to stand there and keep whipping this until you get it right. And what I love to do with this, my husband's not real crazy about it, but when I make candies, I like to use a cup of this marshmallow cream because to me it makes the candy taste better. He prefers it with just the, like his peanut butter candy, just the peanut butter and sugar and milk mixture. But I like to add about a cup of marshmallow cream and give it that wonderful extra little kick to it. And that's what I'm going to do with part of this today. After we do this video, then my next video will be how to make my mama's chocolate fudge. But I'm going to kick it up a little bit using some marshmallow cream in it to give it a nice texture and flavor. I hope you're enjoying my little videos. I'm trying to share with everyone as much as I can for those who are like me, because it can be so difficult, and it was for me for a long time. It was really just having to eat became boring. Okay, so now this is starting to heat up a little. I'm going to turn it down to about medium high. Let it continue to heat a little bit more. And what you want to do, you want the sugar to dissolve. And according to this recipe, you let it dissolve. So usually when it dissolves, you've got a clear liquid in there. Then when you get it all dissolved, then you just add the gelatin and bring it up to a boil. You want it to start to boil, and then you remove it from the heat immediately. Because if you boil it, then you're going to end up more with like taffy than you are marshmallow cream. And it's starting to get there. I'm starting to see some steam come off of it. I'll turn it down just a tiny bit more to medium. And like I said, this is a real quick, easy recipe. You can make it up. If you want to do marshmallows, when I'm whipping it in the KitchenAid, I make sure that I do it for 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20, depending on how thick and heavy I want it. But if you want it to be marshmallows, you could go even longer when you're whipping it to get that really stiff texture, so that when you put it in a dish, which you've coated with, you could mix a little cane sugar and potato starch and use that to dust it with, rather than the powdered sugar, which is not good. I do know that I've seen it in Trader Joe's that you can get, I don't know about Sprouts or Whole Foods, I've never looked for it there, but you can get powdered sugar that is potato starch. Whether or not the sugar is cane, I don't know. So it would be up to your judgment. But two, I've only seen that particular product come out around the holidays because people do so much cooking. Okay, so now I'm adding this. And that's, by the way, as I said before, it's 2 packages of the Knox gelatin. Okay, so it came up to a boil fairly quickly. So now I'm going to whip that in there really good. And I'm not going to add it right now. But you do add to this just about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Everything needs a little salt. I just, for a 1/4 teaspoon, I pretty much can judge on my own. And that's about it right there. So I just put that in there, whip it around. And then I'm going to put it in my KitchenAid. And we'll be back in just a few minutes and let you see how this whips up into a beautiful, beautiful marshmallow cream. Okay, everyone, I'm ready to start mixing this. It is put into my KitchenAid, and we're going to use it again, and I know it gets a little noisy, but you start whipping it. And I usually set a timer for 20 minutes, but I check it the whole time that it's whipping. So we're going to get started with this here. And I start out with low for a few minutes and then slowly work it up. And as you can see, there's all kinds of steam coming up from it because this is pretty hot. But as it whips, it keeps getting cooler and cooler and cooler. So you'll get to see this wonderful cream that you can eat immediately after it's done. Now I'm going to turn it up more. And I must have got some sugar on that. And we're going to see how this comes out. So while that's whipping, I will cut this off for the moment, and then I will be back with you as soon as this is done. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of this, and I'm going to check it right now. It's been at this for just over 15 minutes. So I'm going to check it and see if it's stiff enough for what I want. Oh, and I think it can go for just a couple more. See, needs just a couple more minutes. So we'll put that on. And the thing I love about when I do this is that I can put my hand under here now after 15 minutes. Whoops, did not get that hooked in right. There we go. After 15 minutes, or during the time of that 15 minutes, this gets cooler and cooler, and you'd never know that it had been hot. So we'll let that do for a couple more minutes, and then we'll be ready. And I hope you guys will try this recipe. As I said, I found it on food.com, and it was by CryPixie83. A friend of mine had referred me to that page because she knows the problems I have with corn and how I've been trying to find recipes and to adapt recipes so that they're safe to eat. And this particular recipe, as I said, there are two things wrong with it. One is the vanilla extract, and the other one is dusting your pan with powdered sugar and rolling them in powdered sugar. Those two are corn-filled, so you do not want to use those. You really want to be cautious and adapt everything to what your needs are, which is what I have done. So I hope that you guys will try this, and I hope you'll leave me a comment and let me know how it worked out for you. So I'm going to shut this off now. I think it's pretty much done. And I'm going to pop this down and take this off. And take a look at this whipped cream, or marshmallow cream. Doesn't that look yummy? And I know it tastes good. And it's perfectly ready for everything I want to use it for. So I'm going to go for now. And then later, I'm going to do another video showing you how to make that wonderful Mama's chocolate fudge with the marshmallow cream as an additive. So have a good day. Bye.